Welcome in to this edition of the Edgefield County News Podcast for this Saturday, October 11th, 2025. I'm Tony Ballman, your publisher and editor of the Edgefield County News, and we have brought our microphones out to the north side of Edgefield County, out to a beautiful patch of land out here, the home of Hickory Hill Milk. And I will tell you, my disclaimer at the beginning of the podcast is this is my milk of choice. And I'm super excited to be out here tonight on this occasion, bringing our microphones out here because this is the first of two very special, actually reimagined farm nights here at Hickory Hill Milk. And I am here with one of the owners of Hickory Hill Milk, Daniel DORN, who has invited me here on this farm night to take it all in, but also to visit and talk a little bit about Hickory Hill Milk. Daniel, thank you for being here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming out.
Well, let's go ahead and kind of set the stage for folks who maybe have not been out here. Kind of paint the picture of where we're sitting in terms of this beautiful piece of real estate in northern Edgefield County.
So we are sitting here in the north side of Edgefield County. My family's been here since 1764. Originally, we were granted 250 acres that backs up to Sleepy Creek, which is still the property line today on the back side of the farm. Over the years, the farm has been broken up into 5 different tracts. And then between my great-grandparents, grandparents, and my parents were able to buy all of that back and even expand even more on the original tract.
How many acres are we talking about here?
Today we farm around 700 acres.
Wow.
Some of that is owned, some of it is leased.
So you are a fourth generation or fifth generation farmer?
I'm a 4th generation dairyman, but I'm an 11th generation farmer here on the land.
And a 4th generation dairyman.
Right.
You are practicing what, I know and a lot of people know is a lost art in trying to run a family dairy farm. And you're a young man, I'm guessing mid-30s?
31.
So you're a young man with probably had all kinds of opportunities to leave the family land here in Edgefield County. Why are you a 31-year-old 4th generation dairy farmer?
Well, I went to Clemson University, and I did not think that I wanted to come back to the farm originally. But I got up to Clemson. I was majoring in biology, went through 1 semester of that, and decided, you know what? The grass isn't always greener on the other side. I think I want to come back and be a part of the family business. So after 1 semester, I changed my major to Ag Mech, and the rest is history. I've been back here for 9 years, and I want to be able to pass the family legacy on to my son. I have a little boy. He's 2.5 years old. My wife and I, Darcy, have him, and so I want to be able to pass that on to the next generation.
Hickory Hill Milk is, I would venture to say it is the official milk of Edgefield County because I see it everywhere in Edgefield County, but it's more than that. This brand has expanded beautifully for your family and for this brand, hasn't it?
Well, first of all, we give all the glory to God. We want to make sure people know we give Him the glory first. Everything that we do is only through Him. But over the past 16 years of being able to process our own milk, we've been very blessed in the business to have had great relationships with folks who have helped us along the way to build the business. We kind of live by a kind of sort of a creed that Mr. Billy Amick from Amick Farms had told us, and it was, first of all, give God all the glory. Second, hire people that were smarter than you. And third, outwork the competition. And that's what we strive to do each and every day. So,
well, and kind of paint the picture. We talked about how much land there is out here. Kind of paint the picture of what this dairy operation looks like. How many head of cow are we talking? What type of tech do we have here? If nobody has ever visited out here, and I would encourage them to on nights like tonight when you have farm night, kind of paint a picture of what a family dairy looks like?
So we milk about 140 cows. 5 years ago, we built a new robotic milking facility where the cows are now milked by DeLaval V300 robotic milkers. So the cows are basically milking themselves at this point, which is it's a very neat process to witness and see.
Let me stop you right there. Paint a picture of how this is. I mean, if I walked in over there or wherever the milking operation is, what would I see?
So you would see 2 robotic milking stalls where the cow has access to go and walk in those. And she will walk in, it'll identify her, it will give her some feed while she's in there, and the robotic arm will go up and it will clean the teats, and it will also attach the milking cups and milk that cow while she's in there.
So he cleans it and milks the udders of this cow just while that cow is just hanging out in there.
Yes, sir, it does. All by itself. The cows walk in voluntarily to the robot and get milk, and they can do that 24 hours a day.
That has to have just absolutely transformed the efficiency and productivity of what you can produce here.
Yes, sir, and I believe that robotics is the future for the dairy industry in one shape or form or another. It has really changed our outlook on the dairy industry in our own case. We probably would not be able to keep doing what we're doing without the robotics.
Okay, so after the cow goes in there, has a meal, and gets milked, what's next?
After that, the cow will exit the robot and she goes back out into our freestall barn. She has access to feed 24 hours a day, water, a clean bed, and cow brushes. The barn is tailored specifically for cow comfort. So she gets to go relax, have a good time, eat as much as she wants, and then just come back and milk again 12 hours later.
It's good to be the cow.
It is, yes, sir.
So what happens to the milk? Okay, this robot takes the milk from the cow. What then?
The robot takes the milk from the cow. It goes into a milk tank, which cools the milk down. It comes out of the cow at 101 degrees, cools it down to 37 degrees. And then from there, we will harvest it with our milk trailer and bring it over here across the road to the milk plant and process it and bottle it.
And what does that look like? I mean, that's how many gallons of milk are we talking a day that come out of your cows here?
So we are producing upwards of 1,000 gallons each day right now. Sometimes we've been as much as around 1,500 gallons a day, and we process everything that we produce. And when we bring it over here, it gets pasteurized. We do low temp pasteurization at 145 degrees for 30 minutes. And that's all we do processing wise. That kills the harmful bacteria but preserves the beneficial bacteria. And that's the way we feel God made milk to be, and that's the way we want to sell it to people.
Do you sell raw milk?
No, sir. We don't sell raw milk, and the reason for that is if you were not born and raised drinking raw milk, then you could have health issues come up from drinking raw milk.
And the thing is, raw milk is an acquired taste.
That's true.
It absolutely is an acquired taste.
That's true.
Now that we're talking about taste, and I guess we'll call this an endorsement. I have drunk milk all my life. My family, they would go to the local grocery store, they would pick up pet milk, and they would take it home in the jugs, put it in the fridge. And when I was a wee child, I do remember the glass bottles coming to the front door and that sort of thing. But I will say this, as much as I love milk, Hickory Hill Milk is about the finest tasting milk that I have ever put in my mouth. Why? What is it about this place, these cows, and what you do that make Hickory Hill Milk so daggum good?
Well, first of all, we sure appreciate the kind words. But, we always say you get out what you put in. We feed these cows the best quality feed that we can feed them. We grow all of our own corn silage here on the farm and feed it to the cows.
Really?
So we control all the points of quality from the feed to the cow, to the milking of the cow, to the bottling. Everything we try to do as much as we can on the farm to control the points of quality from the cow to the jug.
How wide is your market now?
So we will extend through food service distributors. We go as far as Myrtle Beach, North Carolina, Atlanta, Augusta, Georgia, Columbia, down on the coast in the Low Country. So it's really a 3-state range.
I know in the words of food, this is sometimes a dirty word, but would you consider Hickory Hill Milk to be a boutique food, a boutique milk?
Well, honestly, I would just describe our milk as real milk. I think it's just the way that milk was intended to be, and we've kind of gotten away from that, I think, and we're trying to get us back to the basics.
Well, it will, as I said before, it is my milk of choice, and it is amazing. Now, we're here for an event tonight that is part of, I won't call it a new trend, but is an ever-growing trend in agriculture in South Carolina, and we're talking about agritourism. You're going to have people on this farm tonight walking around your milk operation, maybe not over there where the cows get milked, but they're going to be here. They're going to be listening to live music. They're hopefully going to be drinking your milk, and you're welcoming them basically to your workplace and your home for a couple of nights this month, tonight and October 25th. How important is agritourism to the business model of Hickory Hill Milk?
It's very important for us, and it's not really something that we plan to make a lot of money on. Our mission is to teach people where their food comes from. That's our main goal with doing agritourism. We do not only on farm nights, we do a lot of school tours, church tours throughout the year, and we just really want to help people understand where their food comes from, because we have a lot of people don't really know that nowadays. So we want to try to make sure they know where it comes from, because that's very important.
You know, for years, how long have you been doing the farm nights? Because I know I've been over here a couple times on Tuesday nights. It's kind of hard for me sometimes to get over here on a Tuesday night, but how long have you been holding these events like this farm night here at Hickory Hill?
We've been hosting farm nights for the last 16 years, ever since we started bottling milk. It has grown since then. This year, we've kind of reimagined farm night, if you will. We're trying to go bigger. We're trying to improve things. We've got new activities, new vendors, new food opportunities, and we would just love for people to come out and experience the new and improved Hickory Hill farm nights.
And it looks like, I mean, we are here before the event starts recording this. There's already just a beehive of energy out here. You're going to have entertainment. Tonight you're going to have down 4:30, and on the 25th you're going to have
Kyle Antone and the Stormfront Band.
That's right, and that's a young man who I understand is a preacher as well as a performer, and so he's going to be out here performing on the 25th. We saw 4:30 a few weeks ago, down 4:30 a few weeks ago, right in the center of Edgefield at the Edgefield Block Party. So they're a band with some local roots that they're growing in popularity. When people come to an event like this, and obviously you want them to know where the food comes from, but what would you beyond that? What would you want the take-home message to be for anybody who's maybe never been on a dairy farm, never even been close to a cow? I mean, they may see a cow out here and go, "What is that?"
Right.
You know, what's your take home for people like that who maybe just are not dialed into the farm culture?
Well, first of all, there's a lot of negative propaganda about farming in general, dairy farming, especially when it comes to animals. But we want people to know that if we don't take care of our cows, they won't take care of us. So we strive in every way possible to take care of them, make them comfortable, keep them healthy, and keep them happy so that they can continue to produce, so that we can pass this farm to the next generation.
And that's important. And you talked about it. We're not going to delve too deeply into it, but that's one of the struggles I think in agriculture in general, is that we live in a society now where, even just harvesting milk, harvesting beef, harvesting crops have become points of contention for people. But we don't eat if farmers don't work.
That's right. Yes, sir. And that's one of the other important things about showing people where their food comes from is, if farmers aren't here, nobody eats. And we are farming the same amount of acreage in this country now as we were 50 years ago. We have had to learn as farmers how to get more out of the land that we have, because they're not making any more land, and we have threats of encroachment from urban sprawl. Not here yet, but it could be here one day. So
it's China buying up land,
right,
in this country,
right,
and that's a major thing of keeping farmland in the hands of young men like you, generational farmers who want to continue their family legacy, want to invest in agriculture, which is not an easy business.
Right. No, it's not an easy way to make a living, but it is a rewarding way to, it's really not a career. It's more of a lifestyle, honestly, especially, with dairy farming, really any kind of farming. You're fully invested in this. It's just part of who you are. And so, and you really want to be able to pass that down to the next generation. I know one quote that I like to tell people is from the show Yellowstone. And John Dutton on that show, he said the goal of farming and ranching is not to get rich. The goal of farming and ranching is to break even long enough to pass it to the next generation.
And you talked about having a 3-year-old, right?
Yes, sir.
That's going to be, if you raise that boy,
yes, sir,
you raise that boy right, and you get him to fall in love with this land and its process, you're going to create a 5th generation dairyman. What does that mean to you?
Well, first of all, I want him to be able to do what he wants to do. I want to raise him around here and teach him things about the farm, and I hope that he does grow to love the farm. But ultimately, I want him to do what he loves to do in the end. My parents gave me that choice, and I want to give that to him. And if he comes back to the farm, I'll be happy. If he doesn't, that's okay too.
You're a 31-year-old man, and we talked about it. We alluded to it at the beginning of our conversation, is that you had options. And you could have left this farm, and you could not be here working, doing the hard work that I know you do every day, trying to run a small dairy against all odds. If there's anybody, a parent of a young man or woman who's interested in agriculture, or a young person who happens to hear this podcast out there, what would you say to them as a young man who is obviously in love with the farm, in love with what you do, but is doing the hard work every day of farming? What's your message to the next generation of young farmers?
Well, I would say that it's worth it. Leaving a legacy on a farm is just something that I think a lot of people take for granted, but it's worth it. It teaches you a lot of good lessons. It teaches you the value of hard work, the value of a dollar. It teaches you to be thankful and grateful for how things get on your plate. There's a lot of lessons that farming teaches you just as a byproduct of the hard work.
As I was walking up here to the milking operation and from the parking area, and I was looking out across, there's a pond out there. I could see the cows up on the hill and the silos and everything out. It has to be a spiritual experience to walk onto this property, wake up on this property every morning.
Yes, sir. I mean, it is, every morning and every evening on this farm, God paints the sky. And I will always tell people forever that the best sunsets I've ever seen and sunrises are at Hickory Hill Farm.
Best sunrises, best sunsets, and certainly the best milk. We are here for Farm Night. Tonight is Farm Night number 1. What's the logic, before I conclude, what's the logic of moving it from Tuesday to Saturday nights?
Well,
just to make it that much bigger?
Well, to try to get more people to be able to come. I know Tuesday nights, as you had said earlier, it was kind of tough to get here. And I know it's a school night a lot of times for folks. And so we wanted to make it a little bit more inviting to come with a different time and a different day, or a different day, same time. But that's kind of the goal of moving it to Saturdays, is just to help people be able to come easier.
Well, we're here on this Saturday, October 11th. I do plan to come there. Is that the little guy right there?
Yes, sir. This is Boone right here.
Hey, Boone. Now let me paint this picture for our listeners who can't see this. Boone is in here. He's got an orange shirt on. That makes sense because Clemson, right?
Yes, sir.
And denim overalls and everything else like that. Comes in on his bicycle and just immediately goes up to Dad. He looks very at home on the farm. I gotta say,
Yes, sir.
I think I'm looking at a 5th generation dairyman right here.
I would say so. He does love the farm. He loves tractors. He loves trucks. He loves cows. So I think he'll grow up to love this place, I hope.
Well, I got to say that we've got tonight, October 11th, for the first of 2 farm nights. And then you'll have another opportunity, if you're listening to this before October 25th, to come out on that night as well. It's $15 at the gate.
Yes.
Get you in, and then there's live entertainment out here. There's vendors as well, selling their handcrafted wares. Do folks actually get to see the milk operation when they come in here at night?
So we don't run at night.
Okay.
Just only during the day. But if you come during the day, during Monday through Friday, you can peer through those windows and see us processing milk.
And in fact, as you mentioned, if there are school groups and church groups or whatever that want to come out, you offer those tours as well.
Yes, sir, we do. You can go to our Facebook, Hickory Hill Milk Facebook. You can go to our website, and Miss Jamie Pearson organizes all of our tours for us.
All right. Well, I was going to get him to say something, but listen, Daniel Dorn, thank you for inviting us out here to this amazing place, this amazing event tonight. I know that everybody who comes out here tonight and also comes out here on the 25th are going to enjoy it. And again, let's give the information on how folks can find out more about retailers. If they're listening to this, it's like, what is Hickory Hill Milk? And they've never had any. How can they get the information on where retailers offer your products?
So they can go to our Hickory Hill Facebook page and hickoryhillmilk.com, our website, and there will be information on those 2 places. You can also call Jamie Pearson, whose number is on both of those options, and she can let you know where we sell the milk.
Okay, and I feel like we've been talking now for about 23 minutes. I've lulled you into a false sense of trusting me. What makes the chocolate milk so good around here?
If I told you that, I don't know what I could do.
Okay, all right. Okay, so there's a secret about the chocolate milk, but it's the best chocolate milk you'll ever put in your mouth. Daniel Dorn, thank you for inviting us out here, and I look forward to having some of that milk here in just a little bit. You have been listening to the Edgefield County News podcast. If you'd like more information, look for the full story on this farm night on our website as well with a photo gallery. It's right there on edgefieldcountynews.com. And if you'd like more information, we'll also include a link to Hickory Hill Farms on that story. For your Edgefield County News, I'm your publisher, editor, Tony Ballman. I will see you next time, hopefully on the farm.